All right, so this is my match against Ishimi. This was my final round robin, and I needed to win. If I didn't win, um, I didn't make the bracket. But I knew if I could beat Ishimi by a decent amount, I could still get the 2 seed, right? So I'm kind of floating in between 2, 3, and 4 right now. So I knew I had to just come out the gate, and I just played, literally just finished up playing against B. Peterson, and I shot 4 under on this front. So I had told myself I was going to take my time. Like I was really bad about rushing in that match, so I made it a very concerted effort to not rush. What is the green P logo on your homepage? It's like the Premier membership someone gifted me, and I had WGT remove it because I don't support that. But it won't go away. That was Peyton playing tricks on me. So yeah, I know I need to absolutely. I just have to try to stomp Ishimi. That was basically my goal. If I could beat him by enough, I win the head-to-head against him, and then B. Peterson goes home. I slide up into 2. Ishimi falls to 3. But if I lose, I go home. So what you didn't see in the B. Peterson match, or maybe you did, I don't know if it aired, but I had hit it to 4 feet here, and I'd missed my putt. So this was on my mind because it had just happened, 40 minutes ago. So I wanted to make sure I didn't put myself in a similar position. So again, I did a really good job of taking my time. And put myself in a much better spot. Obviously, that's a conceded birdie.
Very nice.
So we're talking a little bit, but again, you can't hear me. You can only hear him. Which I think next time I will make sure you can hear my POV. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have, one's not that hard. This should have with birdies anyway. Although I didn't do it the round before. But I was feeling very locked in this round. The match against B. Peterson, I don't know what happened, but I just felt off. I was rushing, and I don't know. But I was feeling pretty good this round.
Thanks.
So I've had that putt before. I'm thinking, 85% chance he makes it. But obviously not a putt we're going to concede, So he's taking his time, which I would expect, given the situation, right? Because if he loses by too much, he's out. So he could be out as well. So we're all like me, him, and B. Peterson are just fighting for that 2 seed, 2-3 seed. So he ends up making it, which I would expect, and then he concedes my putt. Concede putt just means you give them the putt. They don't have to putt it. So then we get to 2, and I was actually hoping for a headwind. So this worked out well because I figured I want my best chance to win, and I feel like this is not a guaranteed birdie into a headwind with this set of clubs. I mistake the driver by way too much. I'm just lucky I found the fairway, but it was a very anti-left swing. Like I didn't want to go in the left rough. So again, on this version, I'm playing 1920 by 1080 first day, so I'm back in that version. And then for the decider matches, I switched to 4x3 because they said we could play in 4x3. Because F Magnets can't play in 1920 by 1080, so it wasn't really fair that he got to play in it and nobody else could. Because to me, 4x3 is, personally, it's the way the game should be played. Because it's not stretched like this, because I have horrible click lag on 1920 by 1080 and I can't figure out how to fix it, so I literally cannot play for the ding. Whereas 4x3, it's, you know, instant. Wherever I click, it stops. So here I'm just thinking, don't screw up, right? So I'm just hitting a punch, and I'm going to miss ding late. Just playing for the fairway. I don't want to stick myself in, like, brush or bunker, you know, nothing stupid. It's just such an easy wedge shot. But I ended up putting myself in, like, a kind of a tricky number. Ideally, I was kind of hoping to hit, like, a flat 56 punch in. And I put myself right in that awkward number where it's going to be, you know, somewhere around 87, 88 yards. So I wasn't too happy with that, but risk reward, I just didn't want to hit the full 3-wood and try to thread the needle up there. I just did not feel comfortable, especially, you know, 3-wood trust issues and all. And the fact that I have to miss ding everything. So he's a little more aggressive, and he's got a much, much better number in. Again, I don't know. I'm probably hitting 88 yards, 89, something like that. But it's not too bad. I'm thinking just aim right here and then just miss ding it. And then I kind of start creeping over into more of a ding territory here. For some reason, I'm feeling really good about trying to hit the ding. So I'm playing that about, you know, 88 yards. Slight miss ding late, but we get the heartbeat, so I'm like, all right, that's a birdie. And for some reason, it actually went left, which it definitely should not have gone left, but it's one of those where I didn't get any forgiveness, or I got maximum forgiveness with the miss ding. So it's basically like I dinged it. But that should be a conceded birdie, so yeah, I'm just hoping maybe he makes a mistake here. But he has such a good number, and I'm also worried he's going to hole it out because it's such a good shot. Like, number-wise, it's really good. So he gets heartbeat, plays it perfect, throws it back, and sticks it. Thanks. So a couple of concedes coming here. I thought about making him putt it, but probably not a putt he's going to miss. So I like this number. This was the number I had in one of my practice rounds. So at least I was like, okay, I know what I want to do, and it's a pretty decent number to just kind of miss ding off, right? Just pull it a little bit. So then I decide I'm going to aim out to the right, and then I'm going to pull it. Like, I'm going to give myself extra room to pull this, which I think was a smart call. So I'm a little shocked I didn't get the heartbeat, and the 3-wood of destiny kicked in, and it went way offline. I mean, just way offline. So now I'm just hoping it comes back. And it rolls back, and I mean, this is a putt I'm feeling pretty decent about that I'm going to make. Normally, if you're playing this hole, that's not a bad spot to be in whatsoever. What's this match for? 5th, 6th place? No. This is for round robin. This is to see who gets into bracket play. This was the deciding match. So if I lose this match, I don't make bracket play. But we were in such a tight grouping that if I beat ISHIMI by enough, I could actually get the 2 seed instead of the 3. So 2, 3, and 4 were kind of a seeding. We're all up in the air on this match. So I kind of felt like we were taking a very similar line here. But then he lands short, and I'm like, oh, I've had that putt before. That is not a good putt. Like, birdie is going to win this hole is what I'm thinking. Because that putt breaks just a lot. I mean, chance of making this putt is 5-10% at best, I would say. So I'm thinking he's probably going to end up using a timeout here. because there's just so much break to it. And he's not the fastest player. So in his previous matches, he had timed out. I think he had maxed his timeouts in most of them. So he ends up using the timeout, but not on purpose. He just couldn't get the putt off. So he struggled. Obviously, he struggled with the time because he ended up getting disqualified against Peyton. But I was impressed with how he played. He's actually, extremely good player. So I think he had everyone like, oh, this dude can play. How many timeouts are allowed? You get 3, but really you get 2 because your third timeout you're disqualified. So you get 2 timeouts, which 2 timeouts in 9 holes is not bad. So he hits the putt, and I'm like, oh. At first I thought, oh, that's high enough, but luckily it wasn't good. So this is a putt I wouldn't even venture to guess how many times I've had this putt, but it's got to be over 100 if I had to guess. So I was feeling pretty confident, but it is a little downhill. And in the match against B. Peterson, I had just left. It was obviously a much longer putt, but I had just left it short. So I was really focusing on not leaving this short. Like, this has to drop. So kind of given the situation, and he had just used a timeout, I felt like it was probably smart to just go ahead and use the timeout as well. So it's one where I had already decided after he hit his putt that I was most likely going to use a timeout. Because I think it's just huge to get that 1-up lead in a 9-hole match. It's just huge. 1 up with 6 to play or whatever it is. Yeah. So again, I probably didn't need the timeout, to be honest, but just felt like the thing to do. So I thought, huge putt, man. And it made the timeout worth it, right? Last thing you want to do is use a timeout and not make the putt. So I think every single timeout I used, I end up making the putt. So, again, I used 3 timeouts in my 4 matches. So out of the 8 I could have used, I used 3. Pretty straightforward here. Obviously, with the headwind, we're not reaching, and with our clubs, the wind didn't really matter. We weren't reaching anyway. So we're just playing a 3-shotter. No, I agree. No etiquette, match play. Yep, I agree. We're playing for money. Like, this isn't just like a friendly, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, we're playing for cash, dude. I'm out for blood. Like I say, he struggled with the time, and it's just, when you're trying to calculate stuff, and if you're feeling the pressure, your fingers don't move as fast. That 45-second shot clock starts to feel like, 20 seconds. So it can be tricky. But I was actually surprised how quick I was calculating everything. Like, it was no issues whatsoever. So, the approach shots, I could play on a 30-second shot clock and still probably have 10 seconds to spare if I wanted to. But the putts was my concern going into the event, but I'd practiced it enough, and I was feeling, super confident. Didn't feel nervous at all. Just kind of felt like I was playing a World Cup match just with a little more cash on the line, you know what I mean? So there was actually no nerves whatsoever in any of my matches. So it was a pretty straightforward shot. I kind of hit it quick, but you play this hole enough, you know exactly what you want to hit. Putting something with a little bit of top and just running it down the hill. The water wasn't in play, so very straightforward shot. I was feeling pretty good about that number too. I knew that was going to be, probably like a flattish punch, or, if I wanted to go like a neutral wedge, but it's going to be a good number in. So I was feeling pretty confident, I'm definitely going to birdie this hole. So he sticks it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily a concede. I think that's probably a little outside concession, especially that putt's really weird. I've definitely missed that putt more than once. So I'm thinking hole out here. Like, I'm thinking I've got a good number. I mean, this is makeable. So I misdinged it, which was kind of the play, but I just didn't misding it enough, and then I just didn't play the wind right. So
Very nice.
No, I was pretty disappointed in that shot, honestly. Very disappointed in that shot. Like, there's no reason that shot shouldn't be inside, 2.5 feet every time. So now I've got that tricky little putt that I'm saying about him, where it's like, oh, this is missable, man. So I'm really making a point not to rush. So you can see I went where I initially thought, and just making sure I had the right line. I wasn't going to rush it. So I decided to hit it with some pop to it. So I did concede his putt. I thought about not conceding it, but it's the same thing, right? Like, he's had tap-ins on every hole. So, except for 3, he's only hit 1 putt and he missed it. And I think that's important mentally. At least to me, anyway. Like, I don't want him to get confidence built up. So I see this wind, and I'm happy. I'm pretty happy about this win, because tailwind on this hole. I had been watching people play Marion all day, and this is the last match of the day. So I've been watching Marion all damn day, and I've seen like 5 bogeys already on this hole. So a lot of people were bogeying this hole. But into a headwind, I was feeling really good, because in the few practice matches I had played, I had birdied this hole a lot. So I was feeling quite good. So I thought his angle was really good here. I was like, ooh, he's actually got a really nice angle with this right to left pin. He could land this, 7, 8, 9 feet right and trickle it down if he wanted to. But then I see him pull out the hybrid, and I'm like, oof, that's a bad decision. Because in my testing, the hybrid, it does not stop. The hybrid is a terrible club. It has certain benefits on certain holes, but on this hole, it does not stop. So I knew there was no way in hell he's getting a heartbeat here. And he ends up putting it in a very, very... I mean, most people had 3-putted that day. When people got behind the pin like that, I don't know if anyone previously had been able to 2-putt that. So now I'm kind of thinking, well, I think par might win this hole, but I have a really good number. So I'm struggling with, do I be aggressive or do I play for par? But ultimately, I think, I always tend to go for the aggressive plays. So I'm like, screw it. I'm going for it. And I get that heartbeat. I'm like, yes, that's what you want. So I end up landing it 10, 12 feet high and just letting it come back down. And it just keeps getting better and better.
Great shot.
But it's also hole number 5 at Marion, and that's not a gimme putt. But I'm feeling, I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, when it comes to the putter, I'm always pretty confident. So here I'm thinking, nah, I'm just going to lag this. Like, he's going to 3-putt, and I'm just going to lag a putt. Like, I'm not even going to try to make it. I'm going to hit it like 1.5 feet and just keep it under the hole. So that's my plan. You know, if he putts this off the green, I'm literally just going to hit that putt maybe 1.5 feet or something, just anywhere where it's just a tap in. Elevation on last hole. Last shot was probably uphill like 9-10 feet if I had to guess. It's usually somewhere between 9, 10, 11 feet. So again, I actually thought he was going to use a timeout. I don't know how he got the putt off, but if I had to guess, he like just freaked out and hit it like really early or something to get it off.
Thanks.
But it's still, I told him that was a great putt, and I think it was because I had seen that putt literally 3 times that day, and no one got it anywhere. No one kept it on the green, so it was judged well speed-wise. And this is no gimme. You see, he was riding the line almost every time on putting. But he made a really nice stroke right there. So now I'm like, well,
Thanks.
crap. So I thought about lagging it, but so I don't want to just beat him. Like, I need to beat him by as many as possible. So I decided, screw it, I'm just going to go for it here. Like, it's a 3.9 foot putt. So I made sure to take my time. My fear was if I missed it, it's going off the green. So dropped a nice putt. I mean, it's a 4-foot putt, but it's still a pretty nice putt. Yeah, I mean, it was a
Very
lot of break.
well played
I ended up playing, I ended up hitting it a lot firmer. So I risked it a little bit. But if I miss that putt, it's probably off the green. So now this is a dangerous wind. Very, very tricky wind. And again, I had seen probably 2 or 3 people bogey 6 that day going for it with tailwind. Like, a lot of people tell you there's not a big difference between my normal set and this set, but I'm telling you there is.
Looks like
so
it.
This was, I had mixed emotions here. I wasn't happy with that shot. Obviously, you shouldn't find the rough, but at the same time, I had no intentions of going for that flag whatsoever. So my plan was to lay it up 25, 30 feet short and just take the uphill putt, because that's what we found.
Are you on full resolution as well?
So when Josh and I were playing, that's kind of what we found to be the best strat. Because trying to go for this pin with this wind is a death sentence. Now, if I'm playing my normal set with this wind, I'm just going right at the pin. I'm attacking it. Who am I talking to? So you can't hear me. That's actually ISHIMI's voice. You can't hear what I'm saying to him. So now I'm just thinking play it safe. Like, just trickle it either on the very front of the green, or it's okay if I end up not on the green. But yeah, who am I talking to right now? I'm talking to you guys. So yeah, my play is just smart. Like, be smart here. I just didn't want to put myself in a situation to bogey. So I played it a little too passive, but it's pretty good. And ironically, again, me and Jay Smithers had talked about, literally, Josh was talking about laying up to like 30-some yards here when he gets tailwinds, because he felt, it's an instant par. So I had a little chuckle thinking about that. Yeah, so this is replaying my match against ISHIMI, so you can hear him. With the resolution, is it just full screen mode that had the lag? Yeah. So it's when the resolution, no. Even when I'm playing in just window mode, it's still very laggy. Very similar to like Flash. There's only like 2 browsers I can play on Flash where I don't get click lag. So I was extremely shocked that he did this. I was super, super shocked that he was so aggressive here, especially given where I was. I thought he was going to lay up, 15, 20 feet short of the pin. So now I'm thinking, dude, Par's got a legit shot at winning this. Because again, the people that had gone above the pin, no one made par. 10 higher above, no one made par that day. So I was ticked that I missed him that late. But I played it nice and safe. I was feeling very good about that. Again, not messing with going past the pin. So he's just taking an aggressive shot here. So I figure he's probably going to take an aggressive putt, right? And then I'm looking at where he's aiming, and I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm thinking where he's aiming is probably just going to be a lag. Like he's aiming so high on that avatar. And then he hits, I see the speed. I'm like, oof. Almost had it. And he keeps trickling down, obviously. But I'm like, probably going to make that putt. So he ends up holding it.
Thanks.
And I got my putt. Pretty straightforward, and again, I probably did it wrong. Like I played it by feel and rend it when I
Nice recovery.
Maybe should have played it differently, but again, it's one of those putts I've had a lot. We come to this pin, and pretty straightforward. I just needed to make sure I didn't miss the fairway. So I'm over aiming to the left with the intention of missing way late. And then I just barely missed thing. I'm like, oh crap. It was supposed to be a much bigger missing. So I actually got pretty lucky just to find the fairway here. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with my round. I mean, I'm 5 under through 6, which pretty good. With these clubs, 5 under through 6 is quite nice. I had kind of a weird number, but I had a really good wind to throw this thing right and try to hole it. I ended up opting just kind of go a little more right at it. Just because my number kind of sucked. Like I didn't want to take it long.
Great shot.
Hitting that percentage and then it just didn't come back or something stupid, 2 up with 3 to play. I'm not going to give a hole away. I'm trying to hit a trick shot. Not when there's money involved anyway. So I actually thought I hold that. I was a little disappointed because 3 up would have, guaranteed me that 2 seed. So here I'm just hoping he doesn't hole out because he's got he's kind of got that in between number two. And then I see his shot, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, oof. I've missed this putt before. That's what I kept thinking. Like, I definitely missed this putt before. It's a sneaky little putt. And he just barely, I was like, oh, God, I needed that 3 up, man. So now we come to 8. I'm feeling really good. Like, in terms of the match, I'm going to win, right? That's kind of my thought process. Like, this pin's, it can be tricky, but we're playing into a tailwind. Like, odds of me birdieing this hole are going to be extremely high. The only thing I can't do is just run this thing through the fairway. That would be a huge mistake. So I end up playing pretty conservative in terms of tee shot. I just didn't want to leave any risk or any doubt that was going to go through the fairway. So I laid back, and the number is really good too. So I'm feeling pretty good about that number. Like, it's not one where I got to worry about it spinning back a ton. Like, I'm going to kind of hit it a little dead. So at this point, I'm just more thinking, okay, I just need to hope he pars. Like, I want to win 3 up. And I'm feeling a little bit of relief at this point too, because obviously our back was against the wall, and I did not want to not make bracket play. That would have been terrible. So he ends up taking a much more aggressive line, which to me is a mistake, right? Like, being close on this hole is not an advantage, right? Having a fuller type of wedge in is where you want to be. So at that point, I don't know what he was thinking going long like that, but I'm loving my number. I'm feeling real good about my number. So now I'm just more thinking, like, how is it going to react, right? Should I pull this? Should I try to ding it? I'm kind of running that scenario through in my head. I don't get the heartbeat. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And so still kind of scratching my head on that one. And I don't know. I don't know. Obviously did not play a good shot. So I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, Jason. Like, did you really just blow one of the easiest shots you've ever had? So, and that might be something where I just miscalculated. I don't know. I could run back the numbers and see. But I remember feeling really confident over that shot. I kind of want to recalculate this real quick, just to kind of see what I would get in hindsight. So 79. Let's just see if maybe I mistakenly hit the wrong percentage or something. 2.5. It's like 72. So 72. I definitely effed up there. So 72 flat. I should have hit that about 96%. So I definitely erred. Let's see what I hit. I don't think I hit 90. Yeah, I should 96%. I'm thinking I hit like 92 for some reason. Yeah, I hit 92 instead of 96. So I don't know why I did that, but I screwed that one up. So now he's got that 30-40 rough shot, which isn't bad. Like, it's technically makeable, but it's not ideal. And use another timeout here, which I didn't. Like, this is just not the shot where you should use a timeout. Like, it's not that tricky, you know what I mean? 30-40 rough from this distance, yeah. It's not a hard shot unless he's thinking I gotta hole it. But I mean, from where I was at, I'm not necessarily thinking that. So let's see. So he finally hits a shot, and he hits a pretty good shot, but it's a right to lefter that's tricky. So now I've got this little putt, and I'm like, geez, I'm like kicking myself in the ass. Like, how are you gonna leave yourself this nasty little putt from that number? So I'm not very happy with myself here. I'm thinking I've got timeout I can use still. Like, it's okay. Let's take our time, and I'm not going to putt until I feel confident. I remember telling myself that. Like, I'm not going to rush it. But then I get the read, and I'm like, this has got to be the line. Like, I'm feeling really good about it. I ended up rolling it in. So it was a nice
Thanks.
putt.
Very
And
well played match.
I did not concede this putt, I don't think, because I thought I needed to be 3 up. So I think
Definitely.
I think I told him, like, sorry, dude, but I'm not conceding this putt because there's implications. So I'm going to need you to make that. Because I wasn't sure if I needed to be 3 up to take the 2 seed or not. So I didn't want to risk it. And it's a 5-foot putt.
Good game.
So he ends up making it. But as it turned out, it was...
Thanks, you too.
They put together all these tiebreaker rules. And this went beyond, like, they had to go really deep into the tiebreaker to figure out who got the 2 seed, 3, and the 4. Because we all ended up finishing, the same. So as it turned out, I ended up getting the 2 seed, which, maybe wasn't a good thing. But, yeah, so, yeah, it was a pretty good match. I ended up shooting, obviously we didn't get to play 9, so I was 7 under through 8. So I was feeling pretty good. So if you look at my 3 round-robin matches, I shot 8 under at Oakmont Front 9, which was solid. Tanked the second one at Marion, I shot 4 under. And then we were 7 under through 8 in this one. So, and then we shot 8 under through 9 at Pebble. So overall, I mean, I played really well with these clubs and the erraticness of the driver and things like that. Like I definitely felt like I didn't walk away unhappy with my performance whatsoever.